Spoilers for 2.5, go play and cry.
What?
So note that the uninitiated are gone, Meteor 2025, or in Frolova's case a very long time ago became president of her little village and killed everyone except her. It led me and everyone to ask, what the fuck is that? And you know what? I may know. Well, I'm guessing, but just hear me out. I think the meteor was a planned event.
What have we here?
No. You planted that in my car.
Oh, did I? Or did I plant this?
I say planned because of the Grand Architect, the presumed head of the Fractsidus. He has given us information in a few ways. First off, he's manipulative in the most sinister of ways and can shapeshift so he can manipulate. He also tells us that they have knowledge, resources, and technology. If I may add to that as well, they could have had political clout, so working with governments, houses, royalties, or trusted scientists. He also seems to be able to shift or control reality in some way from how he's able to suddenly shift Frolova to be sitting by his will. But the second time we see him is as a devoted watcher, and this is during the time of Frolova's past when she was conducting her elegy in memoriam to her village, family, and former life. This is a subtle detail most would brush off. Me? I do not. Stories have deliberation and purpose for why they make things the way that they are, especially for something like Wuthering Waves. I think Dedicated Watcher, as the name of this particular face the architect is using, is part of what he has in his toolbox, a sort of all-seeing eye. I think Dedicated Watcher is going to be a subtle foreshadowed thing we may find out way in the future when we look back on the Grand Architect. I mean, hell, it wasn't until now we could put together the pieces of the 1.0 talking tacit Discord being linked to Frolova's merging of frequencies during her time in Jinzhou. I think he's always had his eye on Frolova, but why would he? See, Frolova is special because of her forte. She never would have known that she can go beyond life and death if the meteor never struck and killed her, causing her awakening. She presents the world with an awakening that is more than an extreme anomaly and boon for any insidious actors. Imagine how many people have died, not just between Frolova's life in her village to now, but Rover being millions of years old to now. Nobody within that time that we know of has expressed an awakening from death. Only Frolova. She's a mutant resonator according to her profile, and her awakening cannot be replicated artificially. With that knowledge, and if we are to connect a notion that the Grand Architect has been watching with their resources, knowledge, and or his own powers, they may have been able to pick out Frolova as a special frequency. But how? Well, according to Frolova, Hecate has always been in the Beyond and has been waiting for her there. She and Hecate are one together. Fast forward to the 2.5 quest, and remember this scene? Set in the past and moments before joining the Fractsidus, Triss's frequencies are reconstructed by the Grand Architect. That signals to me that he has experience with the Beyond and specifically reconstructing dead frequencies. If he's able to reach into the Beyond to use decaying frequencies, it also means he could have known about Hecate's frequencies in the Beyond. Since Hecate is Frolova, it's a direct line to finding where Frolova could be. I find that to be plausible, and it could be why her village was struck by a seemingly random meteor. Additionally, it seems oddly strange that he knew exactly who to pull relating to Frolova. Almost as if he was aware of the village, and of course by extension Frolova. Now, he does mention that she's met the others, whatever that means, so maybe during that time he knew of her pain, but being able to summon Triss exactly? It just seems fishy to me because it was this thing allowing Triss's reunion, whether it's real or not, to be the thing that cemented Frolova's decision on joining them. That was the step forward shown to her and the beginning of her unending quest to find a way to restore life through tacit discords. I believe that once the meteor hit her village, the architect has had his eyes on her keenly ever since. And because he's a shapeshifter, she would have never known. up until their fated meeting during her concert time. If the put forth idea of the architect knowing of the beyond and knowing that Hecate is one with Phrolova, half human and half TD, is true, then knowing that they have a successful test subject of combining TD and humans would be invaluable, let alone someone who can go beyond dying from the experiment. We assume too that they've been trying to merge TDs and humans for a long while based on the welcoming cutscene and seeing the Fractsidus members there. What better way to have her come over to you? Use her dead family and friends to give her false hope that she, as a probably 1 in a trillion unique death-defying resonator, can imbue your abilities onto others and recreate them for you to see them again. You lost your civilization? Frame your upcoming unethical deeds as bringing light to a soon-to-be blossoming one, and that you will be the key to solving life and death and the beacon of light. I'm sure you've all heard the saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Except in this case, Phrolova is the one singular exception, and that exception to everything else around her drove her to obsession, built on top of a false promise and the mounting frustration, betrayals, and failures over her years. It never sounded too good to be true for Phrolova because she was proof that it can be true. The Fractsidus created a fate where the future call of the dead sang her name, but for their cause.